look, we're creatures of habits. If you don't get outside your four walls, you're going to fall right back into the same habit you do every single day. So hey, welcome to the Insurance Buzz. We are your hosts, Michael and Courtney Weaver, and today we are sharing something that has changed our business, something that has changed our life, and setting your week up for success by theming out your days.
I love doing this. So this is something that we started a few years ago, and how it all came about was when I looked at our days and our weeks. It was a lot of different tasks and a lot of switching. And what I mean by that was there would be an hour where we were making social media content or we were recording a podcast. And then the next hour would be a meeting with someone on the team. And then the next hour would be a financial review where we're looking at revenue and expenses and marketing data. And then the next hour, it would be another podcast. And we're like, my brain's going, what is happening?
Oh, yeah.
And it was using different energy and different brain power and different skill sets. And I felt like I was wearing all of these different hats, and it would leave me feeling like I was running from thing to thing and I wasn't really prepared because I could never really get into flow. Mm-hmm. I could never really get into my groove. Yep. Do you know that feeling?
I definitely know that feeling. That's why we switched to what we're going to be sharing about today, because it was almost confusing.
Yeah.
And even though I don't know about you, but I would get to the end of the day, and even though I know we accomplished a lot, I would still feel like, what did I do today? Mm-hmm. Busy, because I did. We were task swapping so much to where we couldn't give, I would say, our full energy and brain power to the actual task at hand, because we were doing multiple tasks and they were all different. So they required different thoughts, different energies, different brain powers,
different preparation,
different prep. That's right.
And I felt like it was going from one thing to the next. And by the end of it, it was, am I actually working towards our big goal, or am I just crossing things off a list?
Are we just surviving?
Yeah.
Because that's what it felt like.
Yes.
It felt like we were just trying to survive the day, cross off the task, and we weren't actually focused on those things that would take us to our end goal of where we wanted to be in the next 12, 18, 24 months. We were just surviving the days by checking off the tasks that we felt like needed to get done.
Yeah. So the themes has drastically improved.
Yeah.
Not just our business, but our quality of our day. And it makes us feel like, at least for me, it makes me feel like I have a better grasp on time.
Yeah.
Like I am more focused. I'm in not necessarily more control of time, but I have more awareness around what energy do I need to have for this meeting? What do I need to do to prepare for this thing? And it doesn't feel like I'm behind, like I'm running from thing to thing. So themes, I'm just going to give a basic overview of how it applies for us. And then we're going to break down some ideas that you can implement today. So I'm going to give a little backstory before I get into this. So one of the big things that we're going to encourage you to do is really set the target. Where are you going? What are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to build? What's the thing that we are working towards? And this is huge for us because we were actually thinking about, we're going on 11 years ago. We opened up agency, which is crazy to think about.
Say what?
11 years ago. And I love to do this where I go in like previous versions and future versions and answer questions and, have that conversation. So I was thinking, okay, if I had to go back, knowing what I know now, and talk to the version of me that was opening up agency, what would I want to tell her? And the question that I had was, well, it depends on where she wants to go, because I'm going to give different advice. I'm going to have her pull different levers depending on what she wants for her business and her life and her finances and her fitness and her relationship. So I think that's the first piece to this. And we're going to give a whole day that's going to be dedicated to this. And that's really knowing, where do you want to go with this thing? What is the big goal that you are trying to hit in your life and in your career? And I think that's so important. So basic overview of how we do it now. Mondays, we're recording this on a Monday. Monday's our podcast day. That's a lot of our content creation day. We know that on Monday, no matter how we're feeling, this is huge, no matter how we are feeling, we are commanding our energy. On Monday, it is go time.
It is content creation day, baby.
It is go time. And for me, I love to front load my week. So I love to do the big, hard things first. I want to slay the biggest dragon right up front because then everything else kind of rolls down the hill, right? So Monday's our podcast. Monday's our content creation. That's where we're looking at messaging. That's where we're really dialing in. What do we want to say? How do we want to say it? Who do we want to connect with? And then the week kind of rolls off from there. I'll let you kind of break down.
Yeah, so Tuesday is typically what we call training day. So Tuesday is where we have training with Weaver Sales Academy. Sometimes we'll do trainings with other districts, things of that nature, sales territories. And then, so Tuesdays are training days. Wednesdays are typically what I call networking days. So networking and sales calls are typically Wednesdays. And then Thursdays are going to be more of so way we structure it now is half day on Thursday, to where on that half day, it's going to be networking and webinars, is how I at least personally structure my day. And then Fridays at this point in time are typically devoted to more personal relationships. And sometimes we'll get into the business on that day as well, like business vision quest. Specifically, if we're out on like a 3 to 6 hour walk, that's just our vision quest for what we want out of our life, what we want out of our business. So Fridays, even though we really try to disconnect on Fridays, they're still about that business and the vision quest, right?
The vision. And we're in this process now. Why we're getting like super disciplined to our schedule is because Weaver Sales Academy rocking and rolling.
Yep.
It's been a beautiful business. We've loved creating it, but we're feeling called to start creating more things for insurance agents.
Wink, wink. Wink, wink.
So we're having to kind of harness that startup energy again. Creating other things simultaneously while we already have this thing going. So
let's just say it. We are creating a new business for insurance professionals. Wink, wink. All right, give us some time, but we are excited, but it's going to take way more energy.
Yeah.
It's a startup. It's a new company. It's development. It's finding the right people for the team. It's creating a vision, creating a culture. It's a whole new organization.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of effort. And so if we are not structured in the way that we are, so like, for example, with this new company, this is now what Wednesdays are going to be dedicated towards. So Wednesdays are what I said earlier. So that's going to be networking, but it's also going to be around half the days devoted towards this new company and making sure that we're working on it every single week to get it to where we need it to go in time.
Yeah. Sharing all of that because we know that you have other things going on aside from just the thing that you're building right now. You have other dreams, other hopes, other goals, and other facets of your life. So we broke it down for you. If we were sitting in the agent seat today, these would be the 5 themes that we would want to focus on.
And let me just say, this has nothing to do with whether you are brand new into the business or you are 10 years in. I believe that what we are sharing today will be an absolute game changer in your business if you take this, run with it, and make it yours. Again, these are just ideas. These are just the themes we came up with. But I truly believe that if you can be disciplined and dedicated to this every single day of the theme days of the week, it will help move your business towards the direction you're wanting it to go in a much faster pace than just trying to check the task off and surviving the day.
Yep. So there's 2 parts to this. So let's go with the themes first. So the themes that we broke down were marketing, sales, recruiting, team, and then your business.
That's right.
So with those, marketing, sales, recruiting, team, and your business. So team would be the day that you're focused on your one-on-ones, you're reviewing production with your team, you're doing any coaching, any extra training that you want to do to dial in the team. Maybe it's an outing, something like that. Recruiting, obviously, whatever goals you have set in recruiting, that's when you're focused on that. Sales, same thing. Marketing, same thing. And then the business, this is where we call it our vision quest, but this is really where, as the leaders, we are going, where are we taking this?
Yeah.
Because the team is always going to look to us to be the guardrails. That is our responsibility.
And we didn't share this, but we're also meeting with our COO 2 times a week to also discuss things that are happening. Number one, the things that are happening within the business currently, and then the things happening within the business of where we're going. So we are focusing also on the business from a tangible standpoint 2 times a week with our CEO, and then the Fridays are our Vision Quest days.
Yep. So the other part to this and why the Vision Quest is so important, and you've heard this referred to as work on the business versus in the business. This is really, where are we going? What are our big goals? What's the thing that actually makes the biggest jump in our business? So you can look at, okay, there's little levers that I can pull, but let's separate ourselves away from the business and go, what would be a giant lever that I could pull in this business? So then once we have those visions and the goals, then we're going to break those down into what are our weekly goals. Michael and I literally just did this.
Yep.
We set our weekly goals for this week, and then we planned it in those theme days. This is what we're reviewing for this day. This is what we're reviewing for this day. These are all just suggestions that we have learned through trial and error. But the biggest thing that we continuously hear and that we feel and we know is you get to the end of the day and you're going, what happened? Yep. And am I actually doing things that move the needle? Yep. Am I doing those income producing activities? And for us, we have to schedule those. We have to know where we're going. And as a leader, your team is always going to look to you. And I remember if you were to ask me, I don't know, 2 years ago, from a marketing standpoint, what's important for marketing? I would tell you everything. Everything's important. And when do you want it done? Yesterday. Everything's important, and it should have been done yesterday, because I didn't have a clear direction of, wait, let's walk through this entire plan. What is the thing that I want on the end of this? What is the thing that the business needs to continue to thrive?
That's right.
And then back that into a marketing plan. So this just came up. We just had this. We're on a call with the team, and these are incredibly brilliant, strategic people, but they're still looking for us on guidance of, are we moving in the direction that you see the vision of the company heading? And it was about YouTube thumbnails. And we start diving into YouTube thumbnails. And you know this, if you do any kind of social media content, there's so many things that you can focus on. Hashtags, hooks, copy, thumbnails, engagement. Like, there's so many things that you can focus on. Video edit, I could go on and on and on. And we start to go down this path. And I'm like, wait, hold on.
Hold up.
This is not our area of focus. This is a nice to have, and this is an improvement in the future, but this is not the big lever that we want to pull in the marketing department. And it was like a breath of fresh air. I felt everyone in the room. I even had calls afterwards. They're like, thank you so much. Because the team doesn't know exactly what's important until you tell them, no, this is the thing. And that's part of the responsibility of the leader, is to redirect. When you see that jet ski going off and they're going in the no wake zone, you're like, whoop, skirt, hold on. Come back. This is what we're focused on. And so many times we're looking at our team or we're looking at ourselves going, why aren't you getting all of these things done? You have to communicate what is priority. And when you have a clear roadmap like this with themes and weekly goals, you can clearly see, this is our priority. This is what we're focused on. Because if you look at it from a year, that's overwhelming. But if you look at it for just a week, that's manageable.
It's super manageable. And when we share the themes with you, because we kind of gave a high level overview of like, here's some ideas on themes. We don't mean that the entire day is dedicated towards that. What we mean is like, let's say maybe Monday is marketing day, right? So maybe on marketing, maybe you take 30 minutes to an hour to look at your lead vendors and your expense and your ROI and what you're actually converting from those leads. And then the next hour, again, this is just an example, maybe you get out and you go to 3 business owners in the community and you just say hi, you network a little bit, trying to develop centers of influence with local business owners. So that's just an idea. We're not saying your 8 to 10 to 12 hour day, the whole day is themed for marketing. But what happens, at least from our experience, is if you don't theme this out, you have no clear direction on the day, and then the tasks just take over. The whack-a-mole comes into play to where every single day something comes up as a business owner that you have to manage, you have to take control of, you have to take care of, even though it maybe wasn't on your list for that day. And so these themes help you stay, number one, they're going to prioritize what's important and most important in your business that helps you move the needle every single day and every single week in a certain section. So like that was marketing. Sales. Again, maybe on sales day, we're spending an hour where are we at on our goals? what's keeping us from attaining our goals, or what are we exceeding our goals, and then communicating that to the team, right?
Or even for the sales, this is your day that you have appointments, or this is the day that you're prospecting.
Yeah.
You are focused on, I am focused on money today.
Yep.
The things that maybe this is for you as an agent, you're still in personal production. This is your day where you're like, on Tuesdays, I have my meetings, stack my calendar.
Yep.
That's the day. You know that going into Tuesdays, it's appointment energy.
Yep.
I'm going to be meeting with people all day long.
Yep. Recruiting. Maybe it's an hour and you go into LinkedIn and you send messages to individuals that you're like, man, I bet they'd be a good fit for my organization.
Yep.
Or you're going into...
You're reviewing your candidates.
yeah.
You're holding your interviews.
That's right.
This is just, and we can keep going, Thursday's team, where you do one-on-ones and you review their production numbers, their goals, where are they at with their personal goals, where do they need more training, what are the issues that they're running into. You know, maybe you're sitting down and going, okay, they're having problems with these claims, whatever that looks like. The thing that we have found is when we start focusing on things, when we start putting some energy towards it, things grow.
That's right.
And there's so many times as a business owner where we feel like, I need to get to recruiting. I need to get back to my sales. I need to be better at marketing. And it's like, we're just giving you permission to say, this is important and let's build a plan around this.
That's right.
So we can focus on it.
That's right. This is good. I mean, this is why we wanted to share this today, is because this has drastically changed the direction of our business. At a certain point in our business, we were pretty stagnant, and we just felt like, and I hope some of you can relate to that. Actually, I hope that you can't relate to this. We were feeling busy. We were feeling unproductive. Like we were checking off tasks, but the business really wasn't moving in the direction we wanted it to go. And when we started theming out our days, we had more clarity within our days. Mm-hmm. We felt better. We felt more productive. Then the business actually started to move in a direction and grow in the way that we wanted it to go. And so that's why we felt really compelled to share this with you, because this is something we've been doing for a while now, over a year. I think we've been on this for 2 years now, and it just has helped clear so much up with, this is exactly what I have to accomplish today, and I've already got time on the calendar to do it, and it's the big levers that move your business in the direction that you want to take it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you got anything else to add to this today?
No, I'm so glad that we're having this conversation, because it's really, how do you feel like you're making a difference, and how are you showing up and being at the top of your game without feeling cloudy and unsure of, where am I going and what do I want out of this? This is just providing more clarity and more context to actually put it into play. And so, you know, when you go to bed on Monday night, that tomorrow is appointment day. Yep. And there's something that comes with that, of knowing at least a little bit of what you can expect. Oh, I know it's not going to be every single day, but I think for all of us, the more we can be prepared and have an expectation of what's coming, we're able to handle the things that aren't coming a little bit better.
And by focusing on the things that move the needle in your business, it takes your hard work and it makes it much more efficient, and it magnetizes it. It multiplies the work that you're putting into it. And the one thing I don't want to skip past that I think is also important that we've fallen in love with is on whatever day you dedicate towards a business. So we're having the conversations like I shared with you with our COO a couple times a week. But by us focusing on vision quest for the business, where we want it to go, constantly talking about it. And we are also getting outside the four walls of our typical workspace to let that creativity flow. And I want to share that with you, because that was a huge breakthrough for me personally. When I would try to work on the business, I would sit at my desk at the office and run all the numbers, the in outs. That's not necessarily working on the business. In my opinion, if you're not leaving the four walls of wherever you typically work, you're still working in the business, because you are still going to get tied into the day-to-day operations. You're still going to get tied into the task. It doesn't allow your vision, your creativity to flow. And so one of the best things that I have done, and this is all because of you, Courtney, is getting outside the four walls and actually getting outside or going somewhere that you're not used to, and just thinking about dreaming, basically.
Okay. I am obsessed with this. Thank you for
I didn't want to skip past this
No,
because
and
this is super important.
It is so important because if you are in the same environment, you will get the same results. If you change your environment, that automatically gives you something different to look at, to see, to smell, to touch. It changes our perception, right? And for me, I'm somebody who's very visual. And when my dreams come in, my dreams are big. And if you put a ceiling on them, for me, it's almost like a ceiling in real life. It's like, okay, when you put the real life ceiling on, you put the ceiling of dreams. So when you get outside, there is so much more space to go, how do I make this bigger? How do I affect more people? What does this look like in a, like, amplified, full send, 100%, given everything I have? Like, when I'm outside, I can stretch and grow and dream. And I think there's power to changing your environment.
Yep, there is.
I mean, there's scientific proof that your willpower will never beat your environment. Your environment will dictate human behavior so much more than your willpower. So for me, it's, well, let's just change the environment.
That's right.
Let's change things up a little bit. So for you as an agency owner, maybe that's not a full day of vision questing, but maybe you spend 2 hours in the morning when you have that big brain energy, you are primed, you are ready to go. You haven't scrolled on social media and gone through all the claims that are going sideways.
Went into the problems.
Yeah, you haven't gone there yet. It's like, let's get outside. Let's go for a walk. Let's voice memo ourselves of like, okay, 5 years from now, I got everything that I wanted and my life looks exactly how I want it to look. What is that exactly? And you just start riffing and you give yourself permission to dream without disappointment, without a how, without a plan. Like, you just go to that beautiful place of, how big can I make this? What's possible? For me, that's everything, because then all I have to do is reverse engineer into it.
That's right.
And then I go, okay, who do I need? What's the plan? But I think having these structured
and you're
days,
fired up. You're not drowning. Look, we're creatures of habits. If you don't get outside your four walls, you're going to fall right back into the same habit you do every single day. So, man, this is good. This is good. I hope you appreciate today. I hope that it touches you in a way that you make positive changes in your business. And because if you're currently not happy, if you currently feel like you're on a hamster on a wheel every single day, we've been there, we understand that. This is a thing that we changed in our business that took our business and our lives to the next level. And so whatever the themes are for you throughout the week, go think about it, get outside the office, think about what a perfect week would look like, what a perfect day would look like. What are you focused on those days to move the biggest levers in your business to accomplish the business of your dreams, to accomplish the life of your dreams?
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because you said, I hope it touches you in a way. And I was like, what are you going to say?
Ooh. Ooh.
We're going to make it happen over here. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Insurance Buzz. If you loved it, please do us a favor and leave us a 5-star rating and review. If you come up with a theme, if you have your big goal and you want to share it with us, we always want to hear that. Make sure and text us 816-727-7610. It is not a robot. It is us. We want to hear it. Thank you so much for tuning in again to this episode. Go out, make it great.